Okay, I'm going to click broadcast and we'll start the recording. We'll go ahead.
The Kesh Foundation is extending an invitation to medical doctors of any practice and specialty to apply to the Foundation's private weekly medical teaching workshop. This includes medical doctors, dentists, and veterinarians. Scientists of the Kesh Foundation developed different types of plasma therapies and cures that utilize advanced, non-invasive plasma technology. The weekly private medical teaching workshop educates doctors to the plasma science behind the therapies, along with the functionality and operation of revolutionary plasma medical devices. The goal of the private teachings is to add plasma health knowledge to the profound knowledge of medical doctors. The weekly class is broadcast live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central European Time. Presently, the class is only offered in English. However, you are free to bring a translator to the class. If you can't participate in the live broadcast, you can watch them later at your convenience through a private internet portal. Every patient's case that is discussed in the workshop will be kept anonymous and private. This includes cataloged findings and data gained from the analysis of the patient's health issues. Any medical doctor in the world who wants to participate can do so by sending an email to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. In your email, please state your willingness to participate in the medical teaching workshop. If you're planning on bringing a translator to the workshop, please state this in your email as well. After we receive your email, we will contact you with the instructions on how to apply to the workshop. As a part of the application process, applicants who apply, including any translators brought into the workshop, will be required to sign the Kesh Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. All applicants will be required to provide proof of their education and ability to practice medicine, and will also be required to pass an extensive security background check before they are granted access to the teaching workshop. Healthful plasma technology is here, now, the use of which is increasing exponentially on a day-to-day basis on every continent. We encourage you to come and learn about this revolutionary technology. Apply today. Are you ready for a cost-effective, successfully proven innovation in pain relief? You need wait no longer. Introducing the Kesh Pain Pad. Using plasma technology, which is based on magnetic gravitational field interaction, the Kesh Pain Pad emits plasma fields that penetrate up to 3 centimeters below the skin, helping to bring the body back to balance. The Kesh Pain Pad offers a natural way to relieve acute and chronic pain for both young and old. All you have to do is apply the pad on affected areas for 1 or 2 hours once or twice a day. It's made with adaptive elastics that can form organically and comfortably to the contours of your body. It has no moving parts or batteries. It's lightweight, durable, easy to wear, and easy to remove. The Kesh Pain Pad successfully reduces muscular pain, tendinitis, wrist pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, back pain, pain from sprains and strains, and knee pain, just to name a few. For a full list of relievable pains, consult the owner's manual or go to our website at www.keshfoundation.org. The Kesh Pain Pad, a cost-effective, successfully proven natural way to relieve your pain. Specialists and researchers. The Kesh Foundation is extending an invitation to experienced farmers, agricultural specialists, and researchers to apply to the Foundation's private weekly agriculture teaching workshops. If you fall into one of these categories and are interested in plasma technology integration into agriculture, you're invited to apply. Scientists and agricultural practitioners of the Kesh Foundation continually develop and apply new methods of food and fiber production, soil fertility management, plant and livestock health management, and increased farm productivity using the most advanced plasma technology that is taught at the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. In the teaching workshop, you'll learn the science of plasma technology and its applications in the field of agriculture for enhanced and equitable global food production while minimizing costs and external inputs. Practicing farmers and Kesh Foundation scientists will demonstrate their application of plasma technology in agriculture and the ensuing results of such applications, thus deepening and enriching learning for all participants in the private teachings. Participants are encouraged to demonstrate their farming practices in the teaching workshop. The private teachings are broadcast in English live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central European Time. If necessary, you may bring a translator to the workshop. All applications are required to provide proof of their education and professional qualifications, must pass a security background check, and are required to sign the Kesh Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. Translators that attend must also pass a security check and sign the World Peace Treaty. For details on how to join the private teachings in agriculture, send an email to agriculture@kfssi.org stating that you'd like to participate. Include in the email your education and agricultural experience and reasons for your interest in plasma technology. Applicants will be contacted with further instructions and details on the application process.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 148th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. And once again, we're gathered here on Thursday in Italy time and having a workshop with Mr. Kesh of the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. And he's promised some special information on the agricultural side today, so we look forward to that, and as well as the usual repertoire of people from around the world who report in and various information as comes up. I guess you're ready, Mr. Kesh. Is that true?
Good morning. Yes, we try as usual to bring new knowledge and new information. As usual, good day, good morning to you, good afternoon, whenever you listen to these teachings. This is not any more teachings, it's sharing knowledge. The time of teaching is over. Is understanding the totality of it. In so many ways, what we've seen is the development of new technology taking shape with the help of all of us. We, in so many ways, are changing the course of the knowledge gained and disturbances of the past sciences, which have caused a lot of problem for a new knowledge like this to take hold rapidly, is what we're trying to avoid with the new technology. One of the most important things is that the collaboration is expanding heavily. The collaboration with different institutes, government organizations, and in so many ways, understanding of the technology by the scientists due to the results he has produced has changed the course. As you were aware, with the conference in Ghana, in conjunction with Ghana Atomic, it was a major breakthrough for the foundation worldwide, because scientific organizations around the world now look at the tape, they look at the recording, they look at what has been said and it's been done. And now we see that some universities and institutes and governmental organizations realize that Africa is moving ahead very rapidly. And they are trying to be and collaborate that we can work as one team. The situation with Ghana is very simple. Keshe Foundation Ghana is become part of the organization of the Keshe Foundation work pattern, and you will see a lot of movement now because of this collaboration with a lot of organizations. Now we are developing the technology in collaboration, that the papers and the researchers we are appointing to be as part of the nuclear industry. What we are developing, which is for the help of all of us, is that we have literally brought a new dimension in the world of science. There was a fear, and it was understood in the conference, and is passed on to nuclear physicists and atomic physicists, and especially organizations like IAEA, that what is this plasma? And now they understood clearly from the conference, this is an extension to the knowledge. We had the matter, as we said, we became atomic, we became nuclear, now we become plasmatic. And in allowing the scientists to see the effects themselves at the highest level in a government, and with organizations like IAEA watching in the background the operation, it has brought to us a lot of right collaborations. Because as we can announce, Keshe Foundation, as we said a year ago, this was our target. We have appointed and we have started a procedure with 2 PhDs, which means accredited PhD from the university in research and collaboration of the plasma technology in nuclear industry. We have now become part of the University Institute organization with, in the next few months, master degrees in plasma technology, 2-year course master degrees will be given by at least 2 universities around the world. We announced this in the coming days. One will be Ghana, and then another position. This is what the breakthrough we needed, that the scientists understand the technology, scientists to see the result. Benjamin has done a lot of groundwork. Thank for his time and his work. That the scientists at the atomic and nuclear level could see the results, but they could not understand it. Now they understand it, and the collaboration is escalating. One of the points that we have now reached is the agriculture. Agriculture in Africa and the rest of the world is the backbone of life and what we see. We announced today 2 collaborations with 2 universities and 2 institutes, and very soon we add 3 to 4 more. Keshe Foundation Ghana, in collaboration with Ghana Institute, University, Nuclear University, which they have and only gives PhDs and Masters. We are opening the teaching for agriculture. You can get accredited agriculture in plasma technology. You have to work in the field. You work with the nuclear physicists in agriculture on site. They have already been trained, and you can apply to become accredited university field in agriculture in plasma technology. The beauty with the work is that we are looking, we have the accommodation, full research facilities, hectares of lands. We are talking tens of hectares. All the things you need to measure, from nutrition, genetic, what we call structure, and how the plants will grow. You can imagine what you want to know in food in respect to use of the plasma in a scientific environment. You'll be working in the field within the secure compounds as it's a new development, and you can add to the knowledge. We have added, as of this week, um, the agriculture section of the Ghana Atomic into the agriculture teaching. This means that they will be sitting in the agriculture, and we are increasing in the coming time the agriculture time to 1 to 2 full days. The reason is a number of countries are start looking at the agriculture and how the process has changed, and now we have 100 seats available in lectures and field work. And you can join us for 3 months, 6 months or 12 months course, a master's, or in sessions to come and go to work in Ghana and gain yourself a master degree in plasma technology, and at the same time in the agriculture section. All the laboratory facilities are fully equipped, available. We inspected it about 2 or 3 days ago. We have premises within the university, which means you attend the university as a full-time course. You'll be taught. We've been allocated for this job. So if you are interested to understand more about growth and agriculture in Africa, especially if you are an African farmer, or you are what we call a student in agriculture, we welcome you into Ghana. You have to go through Ghana website. It's called KF Ghana. It'll be set up in the next few days. They're working in the background. You'll have, as I said, they have a different structure, and you can apply to become a student, or you want to be a 3 months term. You want to come and see how things goes. Don't forget that Ghana Atomic has already done test trials on agriculture with cancers about 6 months ago. When we went to the field a couple of days ago, they showed us this is the first trial they've done with GANs. It's a fully fledged farming organization. You can test what's the effect of the GANs in how you want to do it, and there is no shortage of land and laboratory and what we call teaching a space of learning, literally hands-on. So you can still go to the KFSSI at the moment, put application in. You want to be a student at the KF Ghana for agriculture, and the term starts in January as usual without the Keshe Foundation terms. You can be physically on the ground and do the testing. You can come 3 months. It's a dry season part of the year, so it's what we call very hot, but it allows you to do anything you like to do. You can sponsor someone to do it. That means you can pay somebody who likes to do the teaching or learning to come to Ghana, and you pay for their learning, and they share the knowledge directly with the agriculture section. These masters and PhDs given by the university would extend to other African universities in the coming months. We will announce this as it comes. The structure is, now that we have become Keshe Foundation Institute as part of Ghana Atomic Commission, we change the condition in a way that we open the doors to everyone. At the moment, Ghana Atomic, what we call Keshe Foundation collaboration, has led to a new level of cooperation. We have employed more or less all the master degree students of last 2 years from the university into the Keshe Foundation as a full-time employees, because in Africa we can produce heavy amounts of materials which is tested immediately once it's produced by scientists within the structure of the atomic. They test it, they validate it, and automatically goes into the market. This is the beauty of this collaboration. The beauty with it is that we do not need to say this is what it does. The material Whatever produced, the system produced, is handed immediately to the scientists which are independent within the structure, and then to the other organization within the government to be tested and marketed. So from our production to marketing within few hours, within few days, the production is on running and it will be in the market. This is what collaboration with government means. The first products of the cash manager in Ghana will be in the market within maximum 7 days. It's different than what you can buy in the Keshe Foundation main website, because these are deliberate and specific products for Ghana's consumption. We become government, or we got a section, part of the continent's need, demand for what they need. So if you're interested in becoming agriculturist through plasma technology, or find more that you can share knowledge, go to the Keshe Foundation website, look at it, apply for it, and then you'll be security checked, because you'll be working in a secure zone by the Ghanaian security, and then it'll be passed on for you to move into Ghana to do your whatever. You don't want to do a degree, but you want to do a experimental ground, they will be there. We are discussing that what the fee will be. The PhD fee at the moment at Ghana Atomic is payable around about 12,000, just works out about 3,500 euro, or 12,000 CDs. So you can pay the fee directly to university and you take up the course. If you do the field work, again goes to Keshe Foundation Ghana, and you do it as a field work within the structure of the Keshe Foundation Ghana, what we call the farming community and the agriculture. So those of you who wanted for a long time to do trials and you wanted to see if it works, you can even pay for it through, and we put Ghanaian masters and PhDs to do the work for you. So you can sponsor Ghanaian scientists. If you don't want to come here but you want to see, this is what I want, you set up the parameters, and we put master students and PhD students in to carry out the parameters. You can literally control the research. If you don't have the facilities, or if you want to be part of it but you don't like to come to Ghana. So we have access to a pool of thousands of scientists, literally all masters. We do not employ anyone below master and PhD at the moment. So you can appoint, this is what I want to be done, this is, I'm prepared to pay the fee for the student to be part of it, and I want to control the research. I want to have a look at it, how I want to change it. We give you that flexibility. So it's become one nation, one family. The way you pay for your son and daughter to do a PhD or a master degree, now you can appoint Ghanaian to do it. And you sit there, you ask your son, what happened? What did you do in the university? What was the result? And it tells you. You make a relationship, a connection with scientists from Ghana. We keep this specifically to Ghana. If you are from another nation and you want to do it, we can still do it, no problem. You want to have a Kenyan scientist to be at Atomic to do the research and you want to pay for it, it's all welcome. We work as one family. So this is what we've been waiting for nearly 5 years. We went from Belgium 10 years writing the books and everything else to Italy to become the institute and the teaching. Now in 1 month, less than a month more or less, we achieved the next level of development. In the coming time we announce more, because we're going to the next step. This is important for all of us. We have come to the point to be working as one team, as one nation. So this is a breakthrough. We give you facility to do the same kind of research in medicine. Keshe Foundation, you want to do a research, application and implication of certain ways of doing the test. You sent us the protocol, how you want it, what you see. You are prepared to pay for the research in that section. For a group of you like to do it, your doctors, you want to see what's the effect of the plasma on certain tissue. We have scientists here and we have laboratories. We pass the protocol through the ethical committee, and then you can be part of the research with the student you appoint. We are very, very specific. At this moment of time, we are building Ghana Atomic as the Center for Excellence. You should be colorblind, nation blind. We have a center here, it's financed by the nation. It's got one of the most excellent scientists in the world I've known. So now you've seen the results, you wanted to know it scientifically, you can sponsor a scientist. You can sponsor a PhD as part of the Ghana Keshe Foundation. We put the protocol the way you write it to the authorities. We get a clearance, we get approval, you start the test with a Ghanaian scientist. You pay for their, what you call as a fee, or we collaborate with you, we pay part of it. This is the breakthrough we've been waiting for. You want to see effect of plasma on metals, on metallurgy. You're quite welcome. You can sponsor some of the top metallurgists I've known in nuclear and other industries. We have opened a center of excellence, and it's for us as Keshe Foundation. Now with the collaboration with this university, will you hear another collaboration with another university for the first time today? Then you already know we are collaborating very heavily in Tokyo. We have collaboration in 2 more universities. They don't want to be known yet till the governmental approval for the total collaboration is reached. So we have moved away from individuals. We work as a team. If you are a doctor, you want to see structure changes, you instruct how the system you see it to be built, it can be tested. We get what we call ethical approval from the committee to do it within the structure of Ghana University and Nuclear Center. We can take it to the next step of actual test. We are not giving 3, 4, 5 years PhDs in this technology. Is nonsense because it's so rapid. We are making what we call PhDs for plasma technology, which can be very rapid because we see the results. They can do their work. It's not reading something in the past. So we don't expect masters and PhDs to be long term. In a way, 6 months should be maximum. Now we have started a PhD, which its result will go directly to IAEA because it's be used in the structure of new reactors and can literally stop situation we've seen in Fukushima. This will come out of Ghana Atomic Keshe Foundation, and I'm personally supervising this PhD in conjunction with 2 other professors because it has to. We've been recognized as major scientific breakthrough, and we are delivering it through scientific organizations. Agriculture is one of them. Medicine is another one. Anything you think you want to research into which is acceptable within terms of the foundation, and you want to sponsor a scientist to get a PhD, or you want to sponsor yourself, it all goes through the Keshe Foundation Ghana. The beauty of it is everything here is hands-on. You can literally do things and be part of it. It's not theoretical work. Agriculture, we have 100 places available. Medicine, medical, biomedical, we have scientists already inside the KF who can take up what you want to see. There are biomedical nuclear physicists that they can actually see the whole thing. They've done it. They are highly educated people, so they take what you call the position, and then they are working as part of the KF within the factory structures of the Keshe Foundation, and we see the movement. It has taken a lot of effort. It has taken a lot of financing. I told you we financed Africa heavily, and now we see the results. There's another university which has started collaboration, and I'll leave it to Renan to announce it, please. Renan, are you in the background?
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Could you please enlighten us?
Yes. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to everyone. I would like to announce that also here in the country, the Philippines, we have already collaborated with one of the 5 out of the 5th oldest university in the country, University of San Carlos, and we have directly collaborated with the first, initially right now with the Mechanical Engineering College, which will be also inviting Mr. Kesh to give a presentation next year. So our contacts, who is directly part of the innovation team as well, who is doing the direct uh, documentations of everything for the collaboration. And we have the future courses as well. Especially, we'll put elective courses for plasma technology in the mechanical engineering department. And hopefully, we can involve the other colleges of the university so that we can get the total aspect of the university. And we're so glad to really have this, because we've done this. We had did this since January this year, and slowly we are making some meetings and coordinations with them and doing presentations. And right now, we have formalized, and they have grant us access to the College of Mechanical Engineering. So we'll be giving getting some testings as well with the university soon, and hopefully we can document and show it and share it to the public as well. So as of now, we're gonna start with more on teaching in the university and simple experimentations. Thank you so much for this technology, Mr. Kesh, and for giving us the opportunity to share this to the country, especially for the agriculture, as Philippines is an agricultural country, and we are hoping to reach out. We have also a PhD engineer who has also his farm here, and he is already doing experiments with with his plants as well. So we're getting information after 6 months or 8 months of applying the technology. So we'll be updating more on the collaboration aspect, especially in the nationwide. Soon, hopefully, we can collaborate with the government, especially here in the country. So we believe with our government right now, we have the right people who are working or leading us right now. So we will reach the point to share it to the country as well. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you indeed. Can you explain more to us about this teaching, which is becoming part of the syllabus in the university?
Yes, about the curriculum, it's gonna be an elective course. So we have what we call graduate course, and we have also some PhD courses and elective courses that they can select if they want to specialize something. So when they reach in the 4th year level or fourth year of their college degree, they can select a course there to specialize something. So in that course, they can select plasma science or plasma technology, Magrav's plasma technology, for them to have a broad and specific learnings of the technology. So we will design a curriculum for that based on all the teachings that we have and specifically defined for that certain college. For this, we're starting with the mechanical engineering, so we will look into the part of energy as well, and then also hoping to collaborate with the agriculture part of the university to really share the agriculture. And hopefully slowly we can get into the colleges of the university, Mr. Kesh. So it's really be a part of the curriculum, an elective course which students can choose, because there are different elective courses they choose on when they reach the 4th year degree college, and they choose it. And some of the masters who are taking masters in the university also chooses additional courses such as this, which will give them option for them to learn. And when we talk with the chairman, they express that because they have expressed that this is a new technology, even most of them have not heard of it. So there, even the PhDs, the faculties are willing to take the course as well, so that they will have a grasp of the technology. So we have done the presentation already a few months ago, and it's just bearing fruits right now as we continue to collaborate with them. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. Um,
Hopefully,
what is
Mr. Kesh
important?
will see you in the Philippines soon.
Carry
On
on,
the
please.
Yeah, hopefully I will be calling Mr. Kesh. Will be invited in the international mechanical engineering. Uh, I'll read the invitation. It will be the 7th International Mechanical Engineering Research Conference this coming February. So hopefully we have already invited Mr. Kesh, and we'll be sending him a letter for him to confirm if he can be here to do the presentation for the MagLabs technology. And last year we have already presented this in a nutshell for this as being a sponsor on the university. We sponsored in the conference, so we discussed the overview of the technology and showed the basic products as well. So they have already orientation. That's why they proceeded to collaboration. So right now, Mr. Kesh has an invitation that will be given to him. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. As we said, the scientific world is understanding the influence and the work of the new plasma, new science. And gradually we see the fear disappearing of what is this and all the negativity which is put on by those who want to obstruct. They see the results, they see the effect, and they are testing it themselves. The beauty with the whole collaboration with these setups is that the scientists are approving the research, and they want to be part of it. Our Tokyo University development on test of the cancer on tissue, the first phase has finished. It finished yesterday. What we see is what they call, for those of you as we educate each other, when it comes to clinical trials, especially the first and second phase, is that what they've done, we are in the animal trial. So it's what we did. Some 70 mouse were chosen, delivered to university, and they were all given GANs, those exact dosage of GANs to do the trial. When you do clinical trials in this level, on animal testing, you have to follow an accepted procedure, which is what is known the acute section, which is after 1 hour, the first batch of the trial, what you call the group, is sacrificed, and they look for toxicity. If within the first hour toxicity is found in any organ, the process stops, because then they try to find out how to stop it. We passed the acute just about 2 weeks ago, and within the first hour there was no toxicity. What has been tested is literally all the organs, and what was what you call in the organ noticed in liver and others, that there were no toxicity within the first hour. Then we goes to the second phase, which is the level of toxicity after 24 hours. What they do, they sacrifice another batch of 13 mouse, that they try to see if within 24 hours any toxicity shows in any organs within the body of the animal. The result was negative. Then the next phase is 6 day. Again, after 6 days in these kind of trials, they sacrifice the next batch from the original batch. And again, this was done not this Monday, the Monday before, and the result was totally negative. The 16th day is the final day. If they don't find any toxicity within the animal body after 16 days, then it means the product is safe, or the material is safe for further human trials. The observation as of yesterday is no toxicity in any part of the animals sacrificed. First of all, we bless the soul of the animals which were used in this trial. This should not be done, but this is what the present condition forces to do, to show the technology is correct and there is no toxicity. And this takes fear out of a lot of organizations. This phase, the data, full scientific data from the university as an official paper will be released to the institutes and governmental organizations who have accepted through ethical committees to do different tests. This is only available, we make it available to those who want to have a look. The text is in Japanese. We thank the Japanese scientists who collaborated with us to get this. And in that way, we go to the next phase. As you know, most of you have been using the GANS material for some times. What we are doing as part of the process, we are taking your testimonials as a human trial on the internet. This has already been done in 3 cases with 3 projects. Because what has been decided by ethical committees in 2 occasions is that if people are already using it and they are reporting it, even though it's not on the clinical condition that you have to measure everything, this allows us to see what people have seen, that we can use as a stepping stones into the clinical trials for humans. The live, what we call cell and animal test with the cancer starts on the 12th of December. And we will report the finding. So, as we can see, this is the 2nd time. TEPCO did the testing and confirmed and they're using it. Now, we did it 2nd time, last January. And it was done by outside research center, laboratory, and it was confirmed. Now we have a full scientifically controlled by leading what we call pharmaceutical chemists, that they are following everything step by step according to the rules and regulations of international evaluation of the new medicine. So we are proud, as Keshe Foundation worldwide, to say what we've seen up to now is negative toxicity. This is done, this test was done with a direct injection of the GANs into the blood vein. And it is a direct introduction. This is not as eaten, this is done as a direct injection. So this makes it, as we see, very safe. And in that process allows us and other scientific organizations who've been sitting around waiting to get a confirmation of it to go ahead with the next phase testing or with human testing. What we see is that we will allow in the next few days, in the next couple of weeks maximum, we will receive ethical committee acceptance of what we call other aspects, application of the new technology on the human body. Because of the results which is coming from Tokyo research, this has given us the stepping stone and a clear indication that this technology, these materials can be used by the medical teams around the world. In a coming time, very short time, we will announce that you can literally buy for the first time off the shelf GANS products for health application. This is the license we should be receiving in the coming day, and it will be applicable to all materials because it's already been tested by those who have used the technology for their health. Many of you, this is why we encourage you heavily. Please put your testimonials on the internet. Put it on the Keshe Foundation. These testimonials which you have logged in has given the backbone to the scientists to look at it further. Some of you have already been or been contacted by different scientific organizations and governmental organizations for you to deliver your personal testimonial of what you've seen, how you've done. Please post your testimonials on the Keshe Foundation testimonials. Now it's becoming very important because our testimonial now has become part of the structure of the research for acceptance of the technology as a health application, not as an alternative. This is very, very important. This is where we are taking the medical application of the technology. We have not and we will not allow to become an alternative medicine. Now that we have proven and we are scientifically bringing the technology into its right position, following the trials and certification of the pain pads as medical instrument with certification 1 and 2 in the European Community with the CE certification. This has allowed us to become as part of the mainstream medical application. This is where we are going at. We are not becoming a what we call alternative medicine. I'm taking the course and we are taking advice from the senior scientists worldwide, medical doctors, research laboratory sections, that we are turning the Keshe Foundation plasma technology not as an alternative medicine, but as a main new stream of health and medical application. This is important because let's say if you do homeopathy, you just take tablets, there's nothing else to do with it. If you take herbs, it's herbs, you cannot do much with it. This technology now has proven to be digestive, it can be intravenous, systems which work outside, system which can interact with the field of the body is a total new technology. Is becoming, and in a coming time, we will tell you exactly hospitals which will start allowing as a new medicine, health, into the addition of the present medicine. It took me a long time to set it up this way, but we are going exactly where we are heading. You can go to the hospitals, which as part of the hospital, like you go to chemotherapy or whatever, now you can go to plasma technology section. We will announce one of these sections very soon. It took me a long time to bring this. I risked my life with it, but it has paid off. Because now the Keshe Foundation technology is not an alternative, something on the back street. It's done on the mainstream with people, by doctors, and now we are taking it to a position that it has become a new science in the world of medicine. Because now we can solve the problem within the structure of the present, what we call Western medicine. They see a benefit in collaboration and accepting, not a background, something that could be there. We have shown with chemotherapy, GAN's plasma technology can be effective. Now, I have sponsored new PhDs for this in the coming weeks, we announce. I'm working in the background for it. Once we receive the final approval, we will do direct supporting chemotherapy to take its dangerous part away, how we can resolve it, that chemotherapy becomes part of the process without any side effect. I am one of the advocates. I support chemotherapy because I see what it does, but I see what they call the side effects and dangers, and the collaboration of chemotherapy and plasma technology in a way which we've done research on 15 years can make a perfect condition. But the other side of the coin is that you can use the plasma technology on its own. But to train scientists to do it, it takes time. You already have chemotherapists. We can add a product and line next to it that detects a side effect. The doctor doesn't need to know much, but it knows that it helps. The trial on this side will start in the next few days. We are becoming, and we have become, part of the mainstream medicine, not an alternative medicine. When you go to a hospital and you're given a section for plasma technology next to radiation therapy or whatever, this shows we have come in. It's just a matter of few, maximum 2 or 3 weeks or so. We don't practice out of hotels and in the background. We work directly inside with a scientist. They can test the result, they can see the results. You got to understand something very important. As one nation, we are changing the course. Do not look at whatever rubbish is written or obstruction has been tried to put on, because concentrate your time on development, concentrate your time and energy on breaking through the new technologies using the GANs and plasma, and share it. We have a pleasure, as all of you know, we have one of the most wonderful men in Keshe Foundation. Klaus has set up a Wikipedia for plasma technology. This will be opened up in the coming time very shortly. So you can build the plasma. They have chosen the name for it. It'll come out that you can go from the link from all the Keshe Foundation website worldwide. You can link into it when it does the translation too, I think, if I'm correct. Klaus, are you in the background? You can tell us where we can see this plasma Wikipedia that it can be public. Hello.
He is on the list of panelists.
Do you see Klaus in the background?
Yes, I can see him.
Can you promote him that he can explain to us and maybe show us in more detail?
He's already promoted.
Yes,
Just
sir.
waiting. Go mute.
Hello, Klaus? Hello?
His microphone's unmuted now. I'm not sure, maybe Vince did that, but not hearing anything coming through yet. Hello, Klaus?
No problem. Stanley, do you have an overall look at this, or you can explain to us, because you're setting, you're aware of it, how you're getting set up, where we can look for this, please?
It is still password protected at the moment, so the only thing what I could do is to fast show maybe the beginning.
Screenshot. Don't show the link, please, if it's not opened up yet. If you can show us an encrypted screenshot that we can see what we're going to see, please. Do not release by accident, what do you call it, URL or whatever.
I will prepare the screenshot and share this.
Yeah. Could you explain to us while you're doing it, if you are multitasking?
With this Wikipedia,
Yes, please.
actually it is prepared. Klaus started this initiative and took the well-known Wikipedia software and started to write inside, first from the medical side, all the articles, all the topics, and now the medical professionals, medical doctors and others are reviewing this and adding, correcting, and later on we will also translate this to other languages. For all that already know the Wikipedia at wikipedia.org address, all the functionalities are the same, just that the content is plasma related. When we have this done so far that we can go public, we'll go public and establish, of course, the full body of editors and everything, so that people can contribute, but still the content is enough under control that we don't allow the entries that would actually harm our work. And once this is published, I believe people will have a great deal from it, because it's like an open book. Whenever you, any part of the teachings, any part of the research, site search, and out of pictures inside and other schematics, I believe this will just go to our new book of science. And
Am I receiving the broken information, or is it the same with you, Rick?
So a bit broken up there, yeah. Maybe try
Okay.
again, Stanley.
which part was broken? Could be that my internet link is not the fastest.
Yeah. No, you just missed the last few sentences.
Probably the part that where I said that I believe this will soon grow into the open book of plasma science and technology, exactly the way like we wanted. So when you are searching for something, be it from the health perspective or agriculture perspective or I don't know, transport, motion, you just go inside search like we are used today, and you get an article, you get the picture, you get schematic, and you can continue working on that part and adding your part of the knowledge, and then going back to Wikipedia and actually update the article with your part, what you did.
Have you chosen a name for this by any chance?
Not yet. We were talking about it, but it's not so far that we could say a specific word.
Okay. When do you think we can see this up and running?
I'm trying to do the snapshot just to show the part, but it's more or less now to the people that are contributing at the moment to do this first edit, and then I believe there is no reason to not go public, because most of this information anyway is circulating already, and I don't see the problem. It's a public knowledge. To put public, I mean, technically it's not a big deal. We can do this in one day.
So we are ready to launch it if Klaus and the team in the background agree for it is good enough. We have started with the medical side, but as Stanley said, you are doing in plasma, you're doing in nano coating, you got to come in and share the knowledge. And some of you become editors. One of my requests has been, please do not become peer reviewers. We'll take you off the panel. You're there just to see if the spelling is correct. You're there to see if the sentence has been put in the meaningful that the writer wants to. We are not creating what Wikipedia has done, controlling. Who pays the bribe? Wikipedia, the structure of the Keshe Foundation has to be without bribery. We've seen it in other people who started setting up Wikipedia's structure. It has to be what the person wants to put on according to the scientific knowledge. That's the only thing the moderators in the background have to do. We have to allow The scientist could be a housewife, could be a professor, could be a man on the street, but it's the knowledge which counts. This is what the Keshe Foundation is worldwide. In a family we have everything, and everyone's opinion is respected. When you sit on the dinner table with your brother who's a doctor and a brother who's a teacher, or a brother who cleans the street, you don't value them different. They're all brothers. And this is what we have to carry in all our sections of work. This is what we've seen in the weakness of Wikipedias, which has been set up. The moderator enforces his narrow-mindedness. If you're a moderator, the only thing you have to watch that no foul language is used, and no editing is done in a way that you decide what to be shared. Everything has to be shared. Unless we see people who put nonsense, which is a standard you've got to take out. We need this Wikipedia to be going online within the next 24 hours, 48 hours, because there's a lot of data is coming in from researchers around the world which needs to be added. And my suggestion is, if you call it like Plasma Wiki, in bracket GANs, where people can link and both comes to the same. This is how we should operate.
Mr. Keshe, someone in the live stream mentions that plasma.wiki is alas already taken.
We are not interested in it. We make our own way.
Okay.
Mr. Kesh, good morning. This is Azar.
Yes.
And the medical teaching doctors already have access to Kesh Wikipedia, and they're editing and adding knowledge. But I think it's a good idea in each sector, people who have the knowledge open up the Wikipedia and add their knowledge. For example, agriculture, energy. So every section has part into it. But right now it's open only to medical doctors, and I think Stanley knows about it.
So your doctors on the medical side, you're already using the Wikipedia.
Yes, we have access to it. We have the password and all the information, so all the doctors can go in, read it. If they want to edit it, add more to it, more article information, that we can do it. We collected everything yesterday. Everybody has the information, and I think this is my opinion that all the sectors should start doing this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Azar.
No problem.
I see that Kevin mentions he can show the wiki.keshefoundation.org. He has the password apparently, if there's something there that you want him to show.
No, we want to restrict it to where it is. It's a limited access for the time being till the website is set up.
I will show a few screenshots only, and taking those that I know that it's okay.
Okay, no problem. So if you are in a physics part, in a nano coating part, in agriculture, in materials, in any part, you've done a test on cores, on coils, bring it into the Wikipedia. We'll set up a structure that what we call, it can be worked on, it can be added to. We've seen a number of Keshe Foundation supporters around the world have bought a large number of .com, all sorts of what comes with the Keshe Foundation, and they are holding it for security reasons that it cannot be abused. We thank you for it. We have opened a vault within the Keshe Foundation, secure outside, that allows us to hold the ones which you see as a key .coms or other dots which we want to hold on to. If you have bought key websites to hold on to protect, please contact Webmaster. We look at the ones which we want to bring out, and then we ask you to transfer it to the vault. We've done that in a number of occasions in past few months, and this allows us to control as a family, the knowledge which we develop. I know a large number of people have bought 5 or 10 different to cover their whatever aspects. We thank you for it. This is how a family operates. But the key, what we call domains, you have bought to keep, to be transferred back to the world. We thank our Chinese colleague, Keshe Foundation .tech, that they have offered it to be transferred to the world. That was a key one we were looking for. They had the insight to buy it when it came out straight away, and it's getting transferred this coming days into the Keshe Foundation world. If you bought key like the nationals, Keshe Foundation for example, China, Keshe Foundation whatever, Italy we own, please transfer this to the world that it stays and it cannot be later on abused. This is important for keeping the whole thing. This holding domain is costing the foundation huge amount of money, but it's needed to be kept that way. We see the internet.com.org as the next setup of international companies in a way that was done in late 1990s, 2000, but we keep hold of a structure which we are setting up that it becomes central apparatus job. And it'll help us to bring everything together. These are things which is important for us. It's important for us as a family to protect our, what we call, interest in sharing knowledge. Stanley, have you managed to get your screenshots if you want to share with us?
Yes, I'm coming up.
Rick,
Hello,
you got
Mr. Keshe. This is Klaus 2 from Austria. I sent to Klaus Biller SMS. He's busy and he comes a little bit later in.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Klaus, would you like, Stanley would like to show us, please. Hello, Stan? We see you moving a lot of things, but no talk.
Here it goes. I hope you can see. So this is the first, the index of this site that we have currently, and go to few.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, you got cut off for a few seconds.
I'll go slowly through a few screenshots that I prepared from this Plasma Wiki. We call it KFSSI Wiki at the moment, but tomorrow can be Plasma Wiki, yes. So this is the way how you see the articles and pictures.
Can we see part of the medical part if you have done anything on it?
Actually, most of this part is medical. Origination of cancer you had right now on the screen. Basic tools of plasma technology. Liquid plasma cores, plasma unit, coils, pens, patches, plasma unit. This is actually another way for people to learn. And of course, where we have access to the scientific research from the past, there are also some pictures from that part to understand the nanocoating layer. Learn about difference in wire coating.
I think something which this section you got to look at, eh, somehow the nanotechnology at a very advanced stage is carried out more or less on the back of our work and in conjunction with the Iranian scientists, that we can bring their knowledge to become part of the nanotechnology editors, or adding the knowledge to. Iran is one of the leading nanotechnologists, and they work in this phase of the plasma as we do. Some of the Iranian scientists have taken the Keshe Foundation development into the work of the research. If we can, we'll try to bring them in, that they bring scientific research from Sharif Tehran University or University of Azad of Iran, Tehran, and some Isfahan or Mashhad University, that they can add in a scientific, the data they have. We have the same with the Chinese, which we can bring in. We need to work as one team, as one nation, especially the Chinese scientists who have access to a lot of data at the moment. We need to bring them in, and it cannot be only what I call a few people. We got to search for the papers on the internet who done work on the parallel with us, or ask for them to submit their papers accordingly. Then it gives a lot of knowledge directly on the edge of the science. Carry on, please.
This is more or less everything what I prepared, so just for people that they can see it's real. It's there, it's waiting to expand.
Thank you very much. You have put there something called steam coating with NOH.
Yes.
Let us expand the knowledge. This is very important. In our teachings in the past years, going back to the Coca-Cola bottle, which we put in at the keshefoundation.com, where a lot of people, a lot of you, tried to guess what was this liquid. They call it Keshe liquid. And then we found out that this Keshe liquid was NaOH. It ran its own mysterious line for a long time. And then when they found out it's a NaOH, they ran wild with it, and we saw what we did. Let us expand on this, because by accident you put it on the screen and nothing is accidental. I would like to share a screen, please. Thank you. Something which we have to learn is, what does this mean? How can we add to the knowledge? This goes back to what I always said. If you remember, we used to play a tape every day we started. As part of it, I said, the beauty of it is that we can use the matter state, nano state, and plasma together, because they are made of the same and the bond is very strong. Let's expand on this, because I'm sure now that we are heading towards a space operation, this will make a lot of sense to them, especially scientists who work in the background with this technology. You have and you used nano-coated plate, copper, and you used zinc. You all used in the water with the salt, NaOH. NaCl, depending in which phase of the process you there. To make the nanoplate copper, you first put the NaOH, and then you put it in conjunction with zinc or other materials in a salt water. So you understood the environmental convection was sodium. Sodium has created a new environment, new atmosphere. Let's expand the knowledge in a different way. We take the same components. We take the same nano coating. We take the same zinc. We use the same water. What about if we use magnesium? What about if we use potassium? What about if we use different salts? What this means is that if we use different salts as part of this process, be it, I cannot get rid of it, I'm back in the same problem with this thing again. Be it use of magnesium, be it the use of potassium, or any other salt, what would it do? What about if we use a combination of these in both nano coating and both in gas production? When you nano coat and when you make gas, when you have the sodium, that sodium creates a specific temperature gravitational magnetic field that on the copper, for example, you release the gravitational magnetic field strength of a given strength isotope of the copper. When you hold a piece of copper in your hand, it is copper. But for you to understand that this copper, for it to be solid in your hand, if it was made of the same atomic molecular structure strength, it would have been already nanomaterial. So when you hold a piece of copper wire in your hand, is made of copper of different isotopes in respect to gravitational magnetic field strength. So when you use sodium, let's say you release level 20 strength. Now you have in this here level 20 strength. Then when you introduce magnesium, or you only use magnesium salt in production of the nano coating or in the gas production, now for example, let's say you release the strength on of, let's say 24. If you use potassium, let's say you release 60. We don't know. These are just guesses. I can give you exact figures what you want to know. So what you will see and what you will understand is now you have to start learning to play with the environment and the conditions you make for that environment. Now you see it's the same copper. You created the same nanomaterial. You still create the same CO2 structure but of different strength or a composition of. This gives you huge facilities, huge strength in research and development of new technologies. You used copper. Now let's use brass. We predetermine which layers we want to be. So you use, let's say, sodium with potassium to release a specific strength of the nickel in brass. And then you use sodium with potassium, magnesium, or another salt to release the nickel strength of a specific strength from the brass. Now you change the salt composition that you only want now, after you created those 3 layers, only the copper of a given strength to become. Now you see a new world of transistors in the plasma condition. We walk into a new world of science, of plasma superconductive resistors, transistors, and every other filtering we want. Nothing has changed. Some of you maybe used potassium before, because I did. I was explaining yesterday in one of the teachings. When I started making the first nano materials using NaOH, I could see I needed radioactive material in this composition, because it would give me, without buying radioactive materials like smoke detectors, I could operate in the same region of radiation where I had my nanomaterial, where I had my GaNs material, and I have my radiation facilities available too. And it's the first time I reveal this to you, if you haven't been in one of my specific teachings on metallurgy. I went into the shopping centers looking for a caustic. But I start looking at, do they add potassium to this caustic? Because in the composition of the potassium, by the ratio of the distribution of the energy, you have a potassium 40. K40 is radioactive, a specific field radiation. So I had my radioactive condition which I wanted for control of certain productions of gases, especially production of deuterium, on the shop. Then I went specifically buying potassium salt. You can buy it from any chemist. So I delivered a specifically energized radiation controlled environment by the choice of salt. There are a number of salts you can buy to do this. Don't forget, I'm a nuclear physicist, I understand the structure. For the first time, I'm teaching you to understand. A lot of people were wondering how he does this and that. Now, I try. Now that you have educated in the field, the process. Go back again what I said. With this new technology, we have the matter, the nano, and the GaNs made of the same and the bond is strong because they are made of all the same elements. If you can decide the composition of your alloy, you can decide the resistors and the transistors and other materials. Now you see the game changes. As I said, the teaching is complete. It's adding to the knowledge. It's the same nano coating, but understanding that even the CO2 which you produce in these containers have different strength. This is crucially vital. It is absolutely important for us to understand this. Let me tell you why it's important. We just spoke about the Wikipedia, wikis and the rest of it, which is coming on. You have to understand something very interesting. Now you had the elements, you had the isotopes. Now you have the gravitational magnetic field strength of not only the isotopes, but the isotopes in respect to the environment which they have appeared or appear. So now, if let's say from the elements we know 200 some elements with what we call atomic mass or atomic weight, whichever you look at it, or atomic number. Now, instead of a few, we have suddenly have millions of new materials in plasma condition in our possession. And this is how your body uses this. We don't bring millions of different materials to make the cell of the liver or the heart. The body of the man uses, as is in the gas state, as is in the vacuum state, different strength of the isotopes of the same matter. Now, the game of world of plasma as of today has changed. Now, you can decide the composition. Now, not only can decide the composition, you can decide when you make the composition what I want to be in the alloy, that I can make the GANs of it. And not only to make the GANs of it, I can create a specific CO2 out of it that is only touches the cells in a given neurosystem, in a given part of the body of the man. Now, you can see how many PhDs pops out, billions. That's why PhDs has no value. We share the knowledge. We are all professors and graduates. Start playing. Start working with this new knowledge. And then, for example, when you have, as I said last week, this came up with Benjamin. When you make the CO2 of the magnesium, it's not the same as CO2 of NaOH or potassium. The percentage of the potassium, what potassium dictates which layer of which material will come out. As we said before, when you buy 9.9999999 copper purity, that 0.00001% of the impurity contains all the elements, and it has to be across the boundary of this material. So you create only release 0.0001, which is a specific nickel, which is there. And then you create a new sandwich condition. This new knowledge has to be exploited and used in detail. Then, now that we have the knowledge, we understand how we can specifically categorize what kind of CO2 we make. It's the same. Look at your nickel or your zinc. When you put and produce zinc oxide, if you understood this, now you produce a zinc oxide with potassium in it. Look into the structure of the brain and see which neurosystem has a potassium link to it, more of. So using a zinc plate which created a GANs of zinc with a magnesium of a certain strength, or potassium or calcium of certain strength, you can target the area of the neurosystem you want to repair. And in reality, you don't need to digest it. You put it in a bowl as a dynamic core, or you put it on a coil and you deliver it. And because it's an instantaneous delivery, you get an instantaneous result, because you bring the position into balance. Now we'll really start playing the game of plasma technology, understanding it, manipulation of it, the way our body does. As I said, we don't drink or eat a million different items to have different cells. We eat specific elements in matter state or in a cancer state, and then our body, through its glands, decide what energy to give to bring it up or reduce it to become a cell of a heart as a muscle tissue, or a cell of the what you call a lung as a tissue. Now we see the game changes. Now we see the world of the science of the plasma technology becomes beautiful to play with. Now it gives us a new opportunity for production of superconductors at room temperature, super resistors at the room temperature, where you can automatically switch the super resistor to superconductor with a flick of a thought. Because now you work with plasma. The science of plasma technology, as we detach you more and more from matter state and you look into the plasma state, changes a lot of things. It doesn't change, it adds to the knowledge. It strengthens the knowledge that now we used to do it this way, now we can add to what we used to do, we have more to do. You got to remember, as you have produced, if you remember, like copper oxide, and you change the rate of the current flow, you got different colors. You can do the same with composite alloys. And the beauty with this is that you can create new condition, new environment, new tools to achieve what you need directly. You have a heart blockage. You can identify what has caused the blockage. Is it the emotional or is it the physical? What material? Then you can produce the parallel in the same strength and open the blockage without any brain hemorrhage where the particles can move, because now it's energy. Because now you transfer the matter into its plasmatic condition. Understand the gameplay. Understand the structure play. Understand the plasmatic structure that is addition to the matter structure. And then you start changing a lot of things. If you have, for example, a copper wire. This I was explaining to one of the innovation groups. I explained to you how we saw the current flow or high temperature onto a nano-coated copper creates molten metal matter state inside the tube. Now, imagine, not imagine, look at, you have a composite material, an alloy, which you decided before. And then you heated it up. The nanostructure does not get touched. But at given current flow or temperature, the copper melts. If you nano-coat the copper wire perfectly, and then cut the end, just snip the end off, and then put a current flow towards the matter, you will empty the copper from the center of the tube. Now you have a true nanotube. And then, because you did the work to make it different layers of it, you have a true composite nanotube, which one, let's say, centimeter tube can behave for everything you need, because now the center is empty and full is actually, because it's held now by nanomaterial, one of the most powerful centers of principal energy. Now you see the game changes. But if you touch it, it'll break. It's so fragile. But now you can use, hang it, use the superconductivity for zero-time communication, levitation, magnetic gravitational positioning. I was explaining this morning in part of the teaching and past couple of days. When you melt or use this method to melt the copper to empty it, in some of the teachings a couple of years ago I explained this again, and now that we are more knowledgeable together, we understand the work of it. If you empty the copper fast, that it goes out of the nanotube you created, and with it you take one of the structures of the nanomaterial which is connected to it, you'll find that your nanomaterial in a way collapses into its matter state, and you say, oh, it burnt out, it disappeared. So you have to be very careful when you're producing nanotubes that you don't touch that outer layer. The outer layer of the matter state, that you can keep the composition of the nanotubes which you have created for superconductivity, whatever. So, for example, you made a paint pen coil. Now you can drain the matter state out of it. You will see the power changes by order of magnitude. Now let's look at another step. You're not careful, we haven't developed such a technology to be able to melt the copper without losing the nano coating to be converted back to matter and disappearance of it. Let's make a hole through the copper, the solid state matter, or use a tube which is not nano coated inside, but is not made of the pressurized, for example, tube making, if you want a specific condition, or you can use the tube. But you don't let the inside tube to be nano coated, you nano coat only the outside. And you nano coat it as the layers of different isotopes of the plasmatic condition of the matter. Now, you can fill this center with ganses of your desire, or coils which you have nano coated differently. Now you see the power game changes by order of magnitude. The coils you made for a stacker unit now get a tube, copper tube, nanocoat outside, and put inside it another nano-coated tube. The game changes by order of magnitude. The same goes with the other elements. The same goes how we can manipulate the understanding. So, in a very simple way, we see totally new light in the condition of the nanoplasma technology. In the teachings with different groups, a lot of observation has been made over the past times. You can do the same thing with coal making. I was explaining in one of the innovation groups. Now that you understood that you create different nano layers in a way of, let's say, what we've seen, I convert this one back to here. Give me a color. This is your tube. You want to ignite the yellow line, or you want to ignite the purple line. See how you can speed up your nano coating. Nano coating you can speed up in 2 or 3 different ways. You nano coat a copper wire. You nano coat an aluminium. You nano coat, let's say, zinc. Two, 3 centimeters. And you have, let's say, a transformer here. Now you have 3 plasma condition nano coating in parallel with each other, feeding to one line, and you can decide which one you want to transfer energy or feed through. Or you put of a different strength on the other side of the unit, different materials, GaNs, and you can make the same connection and understanding of the gravitational magnetical field. You can operate in a different zone. What it means you can speed up your nano coating. This is the directional flow of the current. You have connected this to a power supply. You decide here the voltage stay constant and you change the current flow. You choose a lighter nano coated material on the entry, heavier nano coated material on the exit. The eddy current of the flow, what we call it, of the plasma, will nano coat, because this wants to reach to the other, and you nano coat your transformers, your cables on a much faster way. In a way, the gravitational wires on this side pull the other side, and you nano coat your transformers within hours, within minutes. But this has another advantage. You can control power the same way. Now, if I put this here, and I put this here, the same pieces of the wires which you have nano-coated. Now, here, I could control the flow in a voltage way. Now, you want to change the current, or you want to make a composition of it. So, you dictate what materials in the coil you want to be nano-coated. Zinc, copper, whatever. This is, if you look at it, the nano-coated copper. This is the zinc on this side, and your medium now is the copper wire itself. The only thing you have changed, you have moved from a liquid state media into solid state media. This is the power and the beauty of this technology. Now, if you understood this structure, you can nano-coat materials internally of the elements which you want, and this opens a new dimension in the world of metrology, computer development, communication satellites, everything else you can imagine. You choose the frequency now to broadcast. Now you choose gravitational magnetic field, so anybody can use any isotopes. Hundreds of billions of people across the world out of one line can communicate. We thought with the present, what we call cables for communication, we have passed this purity. Now we come into a new dimension world of communication, if you understood how to use this. The beauty with this is, you don't need to put cables across. You only need a small tube. The link of communication, if you made a matching one, it's the same telephone number which gets contacted. Everything, now that we understand more of, has changed. As I said to you, we take you in the true space technology, now that you understand the totality. Ruben. Now you understand the game change. Now you understand why the technology has opened a new horizon. Now you can play new games. Now you can make composite ganses. You can do the same thing if you understand. When you put a gans of CO2 on top of each other, you see different colors, because now this is a gans made by NOH. This is a gans CO2 made by magnesium and the others. Always understand something very interesting: the order of magnitude and the composition. In the what we call homeopathy, there is a path of belief that we have 12 different salts in the body of the man. But now make a composition of the variation of the 12 salts plus every element which man knows, and then you can see the variation of the billions of the composition of the materials which is available to the body of the man for production of different cells. Now you understand the game change. Now you understand how the body works. And for the first time, we open the Pandora box. is and has been to understand more of. Now we understand more. Now we can play bigger game. We can play universal game. Part of the research in the universities which we achieve is to open this Pandora box. Does Raman spectroscopy have any room? Or can we use the Raman spectroscopy of the plasma to achieve more? So now you see how far can we do, how far we can push, how far we can understand that we can dictate the condition. The game is very, very interesting. The process is much more interesting. How far can we now push the boundary of the knowledge? Very interesting. I just received a company confirmation that 16-day results from Tokyo University, it says, confirms non-toxicity. So officially, as a scientific data available, we can confirm, those of you who use or have been working around GANs, CO2, and others, you're dealing with a non-toxic, non-hazardous entity, because it's a copy of your own body. This is literally within seconds received from Tokyo University. I'm reading it to you. It says non-toxic. So the second phase of clinical trial has completed, and you're dealing with non-toxic materials. You have to understand, we produce this material under a specific condition, that the nanomaterials and the GANs materials are a specific dimension. In the following test, will change into other parameters. But the most important thing was that it shows, in principle, the technology is non-toxic. And with what we just thought, this opens a new dimension in the world of science. So if you are challenged, you have to understand the process. How you understand the totality to produce what you need. For those of you who are looking for new components in the world of energy and communication, this gives you the breakthrough you've been looking for. I used to get high tension aluminum cables to do these tests, to confirm it. And in some of the presentations, maybe 8-10 years ago, and in some of the pictures, you see high tension cables, which is aluminum. And then I used to link it with a copper, and with the nickel wires, and with chicken mesh. And it works. I have access to every composition of the CO2 within the body of the man. what is interesting now for some of you who are in medical application, how can you, for example, change the composition that one of the gases of the CO2 turns and become resistive, and then it turns to be conductive. I know how to do it. And if you understand it, then you understand how you can connect in the medical side, understanding this new technology of a nerve cut in the spinal cord. When a spinal cord gets cut or damaged, you don't get a cut which is spoken today in the common language, man. But you speak about the change of now of the orientation of the crystal of the carbon, or the plasma of the carbon, which now it reflects the information to another angle instead of directly to the next cell. So situations like a nerve damage cut through the neural system becomes irrelevant. Now you can grow the same nerve. This is what we saw, for example, in the bone structure cut. Because we create the right calcium combination, we take the calcium from chicken or whatever. This allows the bone to heal, and we don't see any point of the crack or a fracture or breakage. We see that with Naomi pictures which are coming from the hospital. So now we are learning the mastery of the science. Now, for example, we don't need to put a horse down because it's got a broken bone, broken leg, and we don't need to operate on it. You put it in a condition of the gas of the potassium with a right calcium, with a right magnesium, that it supports the muscle tissue, the bone tissue, the skin of the bone, the neural system, and you put this system around the leg of the horse within a few hours, as has never happened, because everything is a natural process. I know how it feels because I've used it. When I broke my bones, within days, now x-rays they take doesn't show any fracture, any sign of fracture where it was, because it's a natural process. This is perfect for heart operation, where the muscles have gone weak or muscle has ceased working. You create a condition of the plasma of the muscle outside, understanding the new composition and the currents you can flow in it. You just replace or reignite the tissue muscle work, and that's it, it's done. A lot has changed. A lot will change. Those of you who are looking for energy transfer have not understood using two systems does not give you any transformation of energy. You need three. A booster, a reduction, a booster. You automatically transfer megawatts. This is what we need to understand. This is what we need to expand the knowledge. This is what we have to understand, that we can expand to the point, to the limits, that we can manipulate different conditions. We create a condition. If you look at the screen now, what we have, we also spoke about the sodium and potassium and what we put in. Look at the picture next door to it. We predetermine, condition the material to be of a given composite here. And then we chose the plates, which is the flow of the energy in a plasmatic from one to another. We change the medium now. You keep the same composition outside as we see it, like this and this, Now, instead of changing from potassium chloride or magnesium salt, change this from a copper wire to aluminum wire. Now, put the same thing in parallel or series with each other. You see, the world of a computer, the world of electronics, the world of communication, the world of everything now changes. You don't need to make elaborate silicons and the rest. You get any piece of thing and you make your own. The beauty of it as a new science is not patentable because it's already in public domain. So it's free to all of us to enjoy it. The world of electronics, the world of understanding of knowledge has totally changed. Another 148 teachings. I can teach you so much till the cows come home. It depends how much you understand. Now, the next step for your understanding in the coming time is not the GANS state or the nano state. Now you have to understand the free plasma state. The free plasma state is where you don't see the GANS, but you feel the effect of the fields which behave like a GANS. Because there are creatures who operate in this level. There are lives which depend on this level. Don't forget, into your eye is transparent. To them is visible and tangible. Now you come to the world of universal community which man has no visual, sensual observation of, but has to rely on the field interactions of the plasmatic kind, which we have not been educated yet to understand, which goes into the inner sanctum of the plasma. The process of understanding the plasma technology now changes. Let's take another condition. Let's change the media now simultaneously. But let's move into the dynamic cores. You had the cores, you made 2 or 3 cores, you made different composition, you put the aluminum in here and you made this as heavy as possible. You put some aluminum here, you made it light. Now you have a different proposition, if you understood. If you change the same composition of the liquid which you made the material, or the salt which you added to the system, you rotate, let's say, the outer core, which now has a matching aluminum inside. Now you have created a beautiful spoon for the rotation of the cores. By this aluminum, for example, here, coming from the same strength as you put inside, having the property of the electron, trying to find its balance, start the rotation, not only with the CO2 or the hydrogen you created the feedback, now you have created the dynamic rotation of the plasma or the GANs, and the physical rotation of the entity. Something which you have to learn, I referred to this long time ago, is the fact that a planet does not rotate because of fields in its inner circle, in its inner core, in the Caroline core. It rotates because of the interaction of the fields between its outer boundary and itself. The speed of the rotation of any planetary system, any star, any moon, is depending on this, and this has never been understood by the world of science. Because you are of the opinion, you have been taught to look on the rotation, but look on the rotation of the proton in respect to electron. Now that we understand plasma technology, the surface of the Earth, for example, has become the electron of the proton inside the inner. And the balance interaction between the two dictates the speed of rotation of the planet. That has been the mystery of the creation, which no one has understood. Why do we get a higher speed in the surface or radiation of different strength on the surface of different suns? That is dependent not on the field of the sun, but on the physical boundary which is created by the plasmatic matter state of the entity on the outer surface. I have explained this in a very deep way in one of the books. Now you understand the depth of the knowledge. This is what I thought last week. With that ball, the tennis ball rotating and lifting the weight, and I said, now put the tennis ball around, make it what you had as a core 1 and 2. There is no difference between that and the core 1 and 2, which is a solid matter of the planet, and the core inside. So in a different way, the electron has changed its position, that running around like the moon has become the electron of the plasma of itself through the same fundamental teaching as we said. The matter, the nano, and the GANs are all made of the same thing. Now, and you understand how the speed of the rotation of a planet is dictated by its own surface rotation in respect to the center core. Now the electron is a solid matter outside. The electron is the outer boundary of the structure of the matter state we see in a star. Because the intensity of the strength in the center is so much, it allows the expansion of the environment, that the weaker can embed and embrace the stronger within itself, because it's the source of its own existence. This is another mystery of the Earth, Moon, the Sun, the whole galaxy. The universe has this structure. The weaker in strength has embraced the stronger inside and use it like a leech to feed itself. Look at the position of the soul of the man and the structure of the brain. The creation of what you call God particles is the manifestation of the visibility, tangibility, and the strength of the environment with the media which has been given by its environment. So the cell of your brain, where your finger is a God particle of the existence of the manifestation of the control of your arm, the little finger. So now you see the depth of the knowledge. Now you understand it is all the same, but it takes different shape. When you put on a man a suit, swimming drunk, a shirt does not change the man. It's the outfit which change, but the reality, the essence is the same as the man inside it. It's the same with understanding of the total knowledge of the universe. You have to unravel it. Why does it appear to me this way? What have I missed? Where is the link which I need to understand to be able to applicate, to live and to operate within? This is the knowledge of the creation. What I have taught you in past half an hour, and now if you understood, you have become closer, one step closer to understanding of the creation in the world of the Creator. Blessed those who understand. Then, if you understood this, Do you need power generators? If you understood this, do you need a spaceship to travel? In a new product which is coming out of the Keshe Foundation very soon, it says, we brought the energy of the universe within the body of the man when you drink the water. Has a lot of meaning, because it means we brought the mother, the essence, into the center. It's the physicality which has to decide what it takes from it. This is why GANs and nanotechnology, which we have developed, is so effective, because we bring the power of the universe and you take what you need because it's already determined by the body what it has to be. The science of the plasma technology is beyond the comprehension of the man, because man has made himself the restriction of the matter state. If you understand this, if you allow this what I call confirmation of the self-existence to stop being the point of denial of the knowledge, man will achieve huge understanding of the universe. This is the problem which we have created ourselves for ourselves. And it has to stop. It has to stop when it comes to the plasma, not to stop when it's in a matter state, because this is the condition which we interact at this strength. But if you understood this, and you can extend the knowledge to the point of the elevation of the energy of a process, then you understand the process of the evolution. And with the evolution, you understand the change and gain in the strength of the soul of the man. So now you understand the body of the man is the outer layer nanomaterial, where the tube inside and the center of it is the soul of the man. Now you understand how you can manipulate the fields, the matter, the GANs, and other points of energy to the advantage of the man, to what he needs, where he needs. It's taken us 10 years of teaching to go from the CO2 manufacturing, understanding that media, to today, to understand that if you dictate now the copper is your media, or aluminum is your media, or anything else is your media. You change the two sides of the wires and put in the center a broken bone. In seconds, you will not even know you had a broken bone. As I said many times, once the man understands the full process of the knowledge of the, at least the operation of the GANs within the structure of his own body, no man will die of any diseases. Man will die on the choice of transition of his soul to another soul, or by accident. And even some accidents can be reversed. Even if it led to the loss of life, you can put the part of the body back together and allow its soul to exist. We will show this in the future, when you understand more. It's very much like what you see, the amputation. Now they take you to the hospital and they sew you up. Now you don't need sewing. You create a field transition between the two sides, because they were made of the same, they just link up together. Voila. Now that you understand the knowledge, now that you have tested, This is important. This is vitally important to start understanding that the media, it cannot be only salt water of sodium chloride. It can be the magnesium. It can be made even instead of liquid of the plasma itself. This is how your bladder works. This is how your heart chamber pumps. This is how your intestine pulls the food along. This is how we observe to our side the universe. So simple. The cavity and the determination of the field forces inside it, in the eye of the man, gives the man the energy to see visually. In the heart, the strength of the emotion pulls the blood. In a bladder, the need and the field strength of the rejection to confirm the existence. It's the same cavity, there is no material in it, but the field strength creates and pulls the matter to itself that it can sustain life to the acquired level for the existence of the rest of the elements of the body of the man. 3 different medias, 1 liquid, 1 emotion, doesn't need to be NaCl or whatever, and 1 by the fields of the matter strength which is given to the structure of the wall of the bladder. Your gravitational magnetic field in the cavity of the bladder doesn't pull your blood, but it pulls the sodium extra, the calcium extra, and the others. Now you understand the process. The world of science has not to be afraid of the plasma technology and the GANs technology. Has to embrace it as explaining the totality of what hasn't been understood. And that fear has to be brought out of the man, because he needs it to understand it, that he can take into the spans of the universe for his own existence. Now you understand, the game changes. Now you understand, it becomes very simple, but very, very complicated, because now you have more things to handle to understand. Now, if you understood just what I explained here, you understand why most of you cannot achieve the tangibility of your spaceship. Because you are not creating it, you are hoping to create itself, because you haven't made the condition, the media, for it to be created. This is the true meaning of the transmutation, not only of the elements, but the plasma of the creation. Beyond understanding of Baha'u'llah Blessed State. He said, the maturity of the man comes when he understands the transmutation of the element. Now we are teaching you the transmutation of fields and essence of creation and the plasma. It took man billions of years to mature to understanding of the transmutation, where we taught 2 or 3 years ago. In 2 or 3 years, now we teach you the transmutation of the plasma, which creates and allows you to travel the spans of the universal community beyond this universe into Unicos, which is the universe of the what we call totality of what we call our universe, the cosmos of universes. Because for those who understand this in the time to come, traveling across the universes becomes the child play as we travel from city to city. This is the knowledge which those who understand in the universal community, now we added to yours. As I said, we teach now the totality of the universe, not the man alone. As the man will take him a long time to understand even the last 10 sentences. Try to expand on the knowledge according to what it is and not what you want it to be, because it becomes the present fallacy of the science. They show you the oxygen goes through the wall because they have made machines to confirm their fallacy. Try to understand the totality. Try to understand the operation of the fields, understanding that each field as is actually going to a place is taking from the place in its gravitational field to is a long tube, is not one-way tube. When a ray goes from A to B, outside is X-ray at the magnetical field strength. Inside is gravitational in gamma ray strength, because it's pulling itself. It's like you standing on a platform with a rope. You pull the rope to go forward, but at the same time as you go forward, the rope has to go back. That is there for you to be able to pull the next step. This is the game. The roller coaster, the roller, you're standing on the platform, is the magnetical. The rope in the inside, which creates more power, is the gravitational. And there is no field, no ray in the universe that does not possess the balancing force. The gravitational of the leaving destination has to match with the magnetical of arrival. Even when you throw a stone, the reason it doesn't go all the time flying off, partially is the gravitational field of the earth, but partially is its own gravitational magnetic field flow within the structure of the stone itself, in balancing its own inertia with the inertia of the planet. If man understands this, it will change a lot. Because even the stone on its travel carries its own magrav strength, both in inertia and in gravitational magnetic fields. The same is with the elements in the copper in the middle. Any questions? Please do not divert to something else that you want to present. Stick to the subject. If you have a question on this, we talk, because this is important. We can always show your experiment.
Mr. Kesh, this is Azar.
Yes, Dr. Azar.
I have a question. Is it possible to use the plasma to bring a soul that has already dead? I mean, the body is dead.
Yes.
How can we do that?
Wisdom of the knowledge. Because the body which says the soul still exists in another dimension.
So using the providing, do we need to provide a physicality for that soul to bring that?
It's the soul which has to understand if it wants to manifest itself as a physicality. If you take the center of the earth to another position in the universe, is the field strength, which allows the condition of the boundary, which dictates how the earth will manifest itself, in what shape or form in that position. Just because you moved the center of the earth does not mean it's the end of the earth, but it means the manifestation of itself in another position, dimension, in the strength of the environment. When a man dies, the soul or the center
I think we lost Mr. Kesh.
they are these elements which the environment decide the presentation. Maybe when the soul, I noticed there was a cut.
Yeah, I think we missed the last couple of sentences that you
I
said.
didn't say anything. I noticed.
Okay. Okay,
No,
great.
I didn't
Thank
say
you.
anything. No problem. So what happens now? Your body has, let's say, blessed is the name, Christ has done this, and nobody could see. He did it with himself. I explained this before, and he did a couple of times for audience to see, to show the power of his knowledge and his mercy. When Christ came off the cross, the physicality was finished, but the soul existed. He understood the pain, he understood the reason. When he came off the cross, the physicality of Christ was not the same as when he went on the cross. But those who were near to him understood the essence of his creation, saw him. The resurrection is very much, if you take the center of the earth into another position, it will manifest itself in what will be there. In the new environment might not be any water, but it has to be acidic. So you see the acid planet, where here is water, zinc, copper, and everything else. This is what we have to understand. Is it possible to bring a soul into its physical dimension? It's already in physical dimension in respect to the other souls. They see and hear each other, but not at the strength of the observation of the man. If you have, very much like a salt water, create that condition, then you have what you want. You wiped out my page. So now you see the whole game has changed. Now you understand a lot of things becomes much easier. Very much easier. Do we need to change, or do we need to bring new conditions that the change appear the way we want it? Do we want to see the resurrection in the physicality of dimension? Because when the body was in this physical dimension, according to what it was created for or at, had the blue eyes, blonde hair, white skin. But in the process of the evolution and knowledge and existence on this planet, the desire of the soul became to be black, brown eyes, and something else. And now that you bring the soul will see, you observe the physicality. This is not what he went. My father was blonde, blue eyes, and now is this. Now you're still looking in what you wanted to see, not what's the sense of the soul. This is exactly how Christ came off the cross. And this is how people close to him saw him and they moved away from Jerusalem. And nobody noticed. The resurrection is not of the physicality, is of the manifestation or appearance of the soul in the speed, in the strength which it is happy to be with the new strength of the evolution of the understanding of this environment. Zoroaster did the same. But the man never understood. He hid it within the flame. As the soul and the energy is of the same. He explained it as fire. That's the only way man could understand. He explained it in the name of Ahura Mazda. I made man in the image of myself, depending where my image has to be. Earth, moon, another galaxy. I appear in the image where the environment allows and would like to see me to be as. Any other question?
Mr. Cash,
Yes.
I have another question. And this has to do with the prior teaching that we were talking about CH3 and CO2 and zinc and copper. We talk about CH3, which is a giver, a magnetic point of exit, and north pole, and acidic. So when somebody is a giver, does this mean the person is acidic, or is it at the point of exit, or has more CH3?
The thing is, this is a narrow way of understanding the knowledge, as even a CO2 or zinc oxide is a giver too. It's the extent of the giving which decides the desire of receiving. When we talk about CH3, is because of the availability of tritium in the plasma state. I've explained this before. Actually, copper gives more than the CH3. But it takes more too.
Another question I have, Mr. Cash, do we have to be emotionally balanced in order to get to our soul? And does anything named emotionally balanced exist? I mean, is the balance is creation of human, or emotion is emotion?
Emotion balance, you have to understand, emotion is a middle layer. You have the soul and you have the physicality on either side. That gives the manifestation of the existence and confirmation of the both. Without the emotion, you will not have the soul. Without the emotion, you will not have the physicality. It's the intermediary. This is how, if you feel in respect to the environment, you grow tall, and everybody in that environment will be tall or short or brown eyes or white or black or yellow, or with 2 fingers and all 4 toes. So when you speak about the emotion, you have to understand emotion is actually itself part of the process of the dictating the evolution. And it's the intermediary, it's the balance, it's a transition, is dark, or what you call black energy, or dark energy, or what we call transition energy. It's the emotion which decides how the physicality will manifest itself from the source, which is the soul of the man. It's a very, very simple. You have your soul, you have your emotion, and you have your physicality. And this has to be. How much of the gravitational it gives that you become tall, and how much of the magnetical it takes that you become short. This is how the soul wants to manifest itself in physicality. And that's what you see, the image of itself. The bigger proton, small electron. This brings an ethical question. Does genetic engineering interferes with the soul of the man, or does it interfere with the physicality of the man, which affects the soul of the man? That is for the wise man to understand. Any other question?
Mr. Kesh,
Can we have somebody else asking a question outside?
if nobody else has any question, I can ask question, yes?
No.
I wait. I give 2 minutes.
I know if I leave it to you, you'll ask questions till the cows come home. Any other question?
Yes, there are a couple of other questions in the chat here. So let me get one lined up. There's Jocelyn in the viewers who I could bring in. She wanted to ask a question about the spirit or soul being a static and the physicality being dynamic.
Oh my God, so far from true reality.
Okay. Do you want to address that with her, or shall we? There's a couple of other things to look at here.
Carry on with the others, please.
Okay. Well, James mentioned that you mentioned one time you offer interpretation of the hidden teachings of the Baha'u'llah. Do you intend to do so in future teachings?
Possibly, it has to be written. It has to be explained. I've done that before. I have translated the true meaning of the writing of Baha'u'llah, the hidden word, to Caroline. In time, she will retranslate. The hidden word is part of the structure of the society in the deep space. Once the man understands himself, and a lot of people have started reading it, and I get a lot of communication. Read it in the language of the soul, the intention, the way Baha'u'llah bless his name has written. He has translated in a way what Christ bless his name did in this crucifixion. In so many ways, the teaching of the Prophet of God are an insight to the working of the Creator itself. It needs the man of wisdom to see it. Then nothing is hidden. If you read the writing of Baha'u'llah, the hidden word. You come to understand the secret of the creation in the physical matter state, which is replicatable in the dimensions of the creation.
We have a question from James that does come up from time to time. Can a soul walk in to another physicality by agreement or other means?
Yes, it does. I have explained this. And it's only open to the property of the past. This is how the soul of the man becomes the soul of the property. You can ask for it, but if you're not at the strength of it, as I said, nothing is hidden. It's all transparent. But if you ask, and is part of it to be received to elevate the soul, because it brings balance in totality, yes. You cannot take. Is available and you're a strength to receive. This is how the coming of the prophets are forecasted or being preset by the other prophets, because they know at what point this energy will manifest itself in what shape and form, because they are part of the line of the creator, so they can see how the light will come in interaction. It's very much, you stand by the side road and you see your son driving the car. You know how it's going to look if he crosses the road, the next junction, and the rest.
Fo, that's add to some people, I think, says, could one say that all souls of the universe are based on a crystal structure of the plasma fields level, on the carbon plasma field strength level?
Plasma doesn't have a crystal structure. Plasma has very much its own field orientation, but doesn't have a structure. It depends. There is something which hasn't been understood. Maybe we can add to the knowledge. The way the inner core and the way the surface of any plasmatic entity, being Earth, the Sun, and the rest, work is that the plasmatic field balance on the surface, which dictates the release of the field at the point which has to be given, even though both are dynamic. The structure of the matter strength dictates at what speed it wants to float over the transition point and connection to the principle. Why am I born with 2 fingers missing? I should have had 5. You have to see why the soul has decided that in the structure. You call it genetic defects. I call it the emotional effect of the soul on the CD-ROM, the information, not the CD itself. Because in that point, with 2 fingers short, attracts the energy which it needs. This people will understand. If you satisfy, I will show you this in the coming time, the way we explain how you can grow toes and fingers and whatever. You can allow the elevation of the soul to be satisfied in the dimension which it needs, if you don't have 2 fingers, because the physical interaction of the emotion and respect, the soul has changed, you might find the 5 fingers back. Can we correct the deficiencies? Yes, it can be done. Now with this knowledge, but we have to understand which part of the brain, which part of the emotion, which part of the soul we want to interact with. With what I taught this morning, everything is possible. The problem was the media, which was your blockage. The problem was in how you control the feed of the plasma in its current and its potential difference. You put it in parallel and you put them in series, you get your potential difference or current flow. Would you like a megawatt at the end, or would you like 1 millivolt? Now, my friends in the Innovation Center, I hope you've been enlightened. Any other question?
Keith asks, Mr. Kesh, with the sharing you have taught us to begin thinking in 3 or 4 dimensions instead of the 2-dimensional thinking we have grown accustomed to. So we must begin thinking not only of the elemental states, but also the field strength and power of the field strengths.
That's what I've been teaching you for past 3 years. You just woke up.
Yes, he's put it in a good way there. Yes. Okay. Akshar says, what type of maggrav fields does an enlightened soul take during astral projection or when it separates from the body?
You got to understand the structure of the soul, and understanding the soul itself is in line of communication with itself being the physicality of the second and the third dimension. What does this mean? Is very simple. When we talk dimension, and this is not the way people says talking about what do you call it, the fourth or the fifth dimension. The way we talk about this is the physicality of the man. This is the emotion of the man. This is the soul of the man. I better choose a different color that you can see it much better. What shall we make the soul of the man? Let it be Martian. But you have to understand next step. The next step is the soul itself is connected to the soul of the Creator and the universe itself. That in this transition, it has become the strength of the soul. So what you get is this. Then this itself here, this entity here, itself is the manifestation of the given strength of itself being the soul of the soul. Itself now is the intermediary of the soul of another lot. How many does it take to reach the soul of the Creator? Or the totality of the soul of the man, the way we've seen it here, plays the game the same as what we said. The solid earth and the soul itself is the physicality of the soul of the man, which leads to creation of his physicality, the boundary of the soul of the Creator at the level of the strength of the observation of the man. In so many ways does it mean that we are radiation of the soul radiation of the field of the creator? And the answer is yes. Now maybe for those who understand better, I made man in the image of myself. What I felt in this environment, I created as a man. Even though it's all conditional on the environment which has created itself. Any other question? Or shall we call it a day? It's nearly 12 o'clock.
There's a question on hands, but I don't know if you want to go there.
Let's see.
Pardon me?
If it's easy, I answer. If it's difficult, you do it, Rick.
Okay, well, it's probably relevant to what you've been teaching here, so let's go for it. The name is Just Dance. Asks, someone came to me with extreme pains due to a motorcycle accident 16 years ago. Nerves have been cut. It's a mix of phantom pain and physical pain. They have experimented a lot on him. I put CO2 and zinc oxide on his left shoulder and arm, and after 3 minutes, the pain was 50% less. He was shocked. Question: if I create a loop between the right side of his brain and his left arm and shoulder with liquid CO2 and zinc oxide to start with, would the body learn to restart the communication between broken nerves and his brain and perhaps regrow the damaged tissue in between? Or am I doing the wrong thing? And he says, I will take this new information into account about the isotope in copper part, he says.
Yes, it does. You can do. I've done it many times. Many of you have done.
Is there any problem, Mr. Kesh, between the loop including a crossover of the back, the main nerves in the back and so on?
No, because you look at that on a physical connection, but don't forget you have outside what go through the aura or the field outside the atmospheric condition of the body. You don't need everything to be. The thing is you create the connection first through your fields, and then physicality finds itself through to connect through the nerves. It's beautiful when it happens because you pinpoint where it is to be. The field is created, now the subsidiaries are created. We see this in the human body very often and we ignore it. If you look, people who have, for example, spinal cord damage, they are paraplegic. But if you touch the toe, they still feel you. If you touch the leg, they still feel you. They feel the hot and cold. The mainstream line of communication is there. They're partially some sub-nerves and intact totally, the aura connection is still there. But you need the spinal cord to move the physicality. The main part of the physicality. So, doctor says it's sub-nerves which are taking the connection, but how much of the sub-nerve goes in the sub-nerve to be in the sub-nerve? Most of the communication you feel is through your, what we call environmental condition, which is connected to your brain. In the cases like coma condition, this I use heavily in damages. I've explained this before. In physical damages, I use it extensively. I don't look for the connection of the nerve. Oh yes, it moved. I look at the connection of the outside the aura with the toe, which is not moving. The nerve to the toe in the physical side is damaged or is clogged up. But it's like you putting a hot water around the tube, putting a fire around the tube to the ice, what is blocked inside the ice. If the ice is blocked inside the tube, you're going to get the water. But If you create a heat outside it and line of communication for it, gradually melts, the pipe inside opens. If you leave the two inside, it'll never open. You change the environment outside, it's the same. In especially neuro damage systems from the brain to part of the extremities of the body, go to the furthest distance and establish what I call the line of environmental connection, what we call aura. And then, because you create it, it still is the same, receives the same. What you do is this. This is your body. And this is the toe, let's say the finger, which is damaged. This damaged. Let's say by a cut here. Unrepairable. You put a patch here. And you put a patch here. You establish, you tell, as I said, move the finger, but it doesn't move. But the emotion inside the finger, with it itself in its position, moves. Now you have established a non-linkage. But now, because this has worked and it has a physical part trying to say which way is going to go to get this one done, then you open the clock and the body moves. This is one of the most efficient way to do paralysis movement, or what you call it, the coma, because you can bypass, use the aura to trigger the physicality to open itself. You change the environment. Now it was ice, there's a blockage, or there is something stuck. You change the environment, the tube expands, the blockage moves, the whole pipe works. It's no difference. Now you change the field.
Okay, Mr. Kesh, in a similar way, Zane asked as a next question actually, what part of the brain is the most important to focus on opening to create our light body?
Our what body?
Our light body.
You mean
light.
One of both? Or you mean light as shining light?
I guess shiny light or
it's very easy. We do that. It's been done and we do that. We see the manifestation of God in the light. That's why we see they put them in. We have our own light, but it depends on the purity of what you give and what you receive. If according to the knowledge of the man and his emotion by the value of the essence of the matter state, you see a white, black, or a gold color. When you see a gold, is connected with the emotion of the physicality to manifestation of the creation. When you see a white, it's the soul of the essence of the creation. When it's black, it means absorbs everything and none is given. In the Christianity, we call it the black man, the black priest.
So is there any focus on is part of the brain involved in that opening up to or creation of the light body, or is it some other focus?
It is the level of, you got to understand something very clearly. In these conditions is, as I said, is not the entity itself, but the environment of the entity that it dictates the manifestation of the color. When you see the prophet of God in the light, it's the other souls that they want to show him in the bright light. It depends on which side of the teaching it comes. It's the same with your own aura. Not many people can see. You hardly can see your own aura. Nobody can in a way. Some people claim they can. Or it depends how far they are from the position of their own soul. But in reality, the light and the color of it, it shows understanding of its own creation. One day I show you, one day, when the man matures. We try to keep away from the hypocrisy of the past, raising a dead, and the other thing is we try to avoid, try to hold man to understand then the knowledge enlightens, not the magic. Any other question? Or shall we call it a day?
I'm sure we can always go on, Mr. Kesh, but at a certain point we have to call it quits here.
There is something, I don't know if you received with the production of the water, we wanted to show because some people want.
Oh yes.
This is important, so please understand. If you go back to part of the teaching we've done in the past, I always said, when you create water, a lot of you expect to see the water to be outside the container. And I always said, for those who are wise to understand, observe the elevation of the water level. What we see, some people now put like a plastic bag or whatever, and they allow the water to be collected inside the bag. It's more or less the same process, but some people have achieved production of the water, which is partially the same process. And it's good to see, because now we show what has been done and what is getting achieved. Is John in the background?
Do you want me to show that water document now?
Please, if you could. Is it legal? Can we do it? We are not infringing it.
As far as I know, it looks like just pictures that has been taken. No photographs, so it's.
Is John available? Sorry, Rick. Is John from Arizona factory there, please? Wait for him. He's not there.
Don't think so. A few Johns, not that one. Okay, let me share that document.
He exited 1 hour ago.
Oh, it's too late for them.
Okay, I'll try to make that a little bigger so it's easier to see. Okay, so do you want me just to skim through, or do you want me to read it, or what do you think?
Read it. Yeah, please read it, because it has to be transcribed.
Okay, so let's go ahead here. Water creation conditions via fields interaction. And it's dated 28th of November 2016. And it goes on. Today I was looking into my car deposit trunk where I put some basic stuff ready to use in case of emergency. What I had done in time was to put 3 little bottles, each containing 50 milliliters of CO2 and zinc oxide GANs inside a soft plastic bag. Then I put this plastic bag inside another bigger plastic container where I put 2 paint pens and another winded coated wire. I think it means wound coated wire. Both the plastic container outside and the plastic bag inside were well closed, sealed, and inside the trunk. So I find it very hard for any fresh air to circulate into this system. So from the outside to inside, you see the closed container, 2 paint pens, and the other winded coated wire on the other side, plastic bag, and 3 different CO2 zinc oxide GANs into bottles. Inside the plastic bag, in time fields combined in a way to lead to the creation of what I think to be a fair amount of moisture and H2O deposit in matter state. To my point of view, this can be replicated and enhanced in the same way, doing nanocoating in each plastic container to isolate the field's interactions at the best, putting more pen on the outside, or submerging the plastic bag containing the CO2 and zinc oxide gases into CH3 liquid plasma solution to increase the field flow between the outer container and the inner one. This is to create a major exchange of plasmatic fields from outside the plastic bag to the inside where the CO2 zinc oxide bottles are placed, and vice versa. This continuous flow of field into an enclosed plastic environment would provide the condition for the creation of H2O in the matter state. Possibly with a liquid plasma mixture of both CH3 and CuO in the outer container could provide both the continuity of the supply for hydrogen plasma and the potential difference to increase the amount of field exchange between the two containers. Option 2. I have another option to this one, and that is very immediate and secure water production unit, because I noticed that the CO2 GANS bottles always moist outside when the temperature goes to 23 to 24 Celsius degrees. I noticed the very same behavior multiple times under this temperature inside the car. Maybe it can be perfected in a range of 1 or 2 degrees, but the challenge is to just find the right temperature so that you create the right temperature inside the bag so the maximum moisture is created, but not so warmth that it tends to evaporate again. So the idea is to further improve the system using one of those very cheap thermostats for fish tanks. Usually, who takes care of little turtles use this kind of instrument for their terrariums, and it always it allows you to keep temperatures very steady for a long period of time until you get the amount of water you desire. So they are very cheap, like €3 on eBay, consume very low, like 50 watts, and temperature range is manageable from 20 to 30, 35 degrees. This is the characteristics of the cheapest I found on eBay. So 50 watts can be done easily in any way, beginning from MagRav unit to solar panel and very little power packs. Option 3. I guess even without the thermostat, you can put your bag with the GANS bottles inside near a steady warmth source like a campfire in extreme situations, not so close so that water immediately evaporates. Find the right balance and you've got your water for free. Remember, GANS is always are radiating and absorbing fields in respect to their environment. You just have to position the system in the point of balance where moisture is produced on the surface of the bottle, being able to contain it until you collect it as you need. This is also why you put the bottle GANS into the sealed plastic bag. Otherwise, you lose the moisture as you create it. Have fun, Stefano. Okay. So, is there any comments on that, Mr. Kesh? Not hearing you there. Maybe your microphone's been muted.
I didn't want to make noise while you were reading.
Thank you, yes.
No, it's just that it's another observation and needs to be shared. And we've seen a lot of people testing. It's the creation of environment. Now you're creating environment inside an environment, and that's what it's about, testing and see what can be achieved. You absorb because the pens carry moisture in them, so you create a replication. And this is another way. We've seen the production of the water outside the system before. Now this is the reason it's another version inside the system, which is it gives another idea some people could use in the future, or they can add to the knowledge.
Yes, I do remember that people were getting that effect on the outside of some of their containers and so on. It was actually causing dampness underneath some of the containers as well.
Yeah. We did that in the Sensano a couple of years ago. We saw it again in Trani Almond, made a few systems which show that.
Right, so this is more or less a refinement of that idea, but interesting way to maybe collect it.
The beauty of this is shows that people have start observing the minutest things. They've gone past that what is there. The observation is important.
Yes, that is so true.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up for you today, Mr. Kesh.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Kesh, this is Klaus too again from Austria. A last question, please. I think it's important for many people. I install a strong maggraph by friends of me. Peter Salocha has become the same for second weeks. And these two people were 20 years in the field of room harmonizing and have very harmonic fields at home. And we installed the maggraph and we feel that the field comes up bigger and bigger in 5 minutes. And 3 days later, the lady called me and said to me she must reinstall the maggraph. The fields weren't so strong like an electromagnetic field. And I discussed this with a friend of me, with a doctor, and he came to the same result as I. I think the challenge of the emotion fields are too strong for these people and they want not to change anything. What do you mean?
Can you repeat the question?
Okay. We install a very strong maggraph unit by friends of me. And they work 20 years in the field of room harmonizing with diamagnetic fields. And they feel very good. And the plasma field from the maggraph builds up very quickly and very strong. They can feel it. And 3 times later, the lady called me and said to me, she must took off the maggraph from the grid. The fields are so strong, like very strong E-smoke electromagnetic fields. And I speak to her, I feel that the challenge in her emotion style was too big for her. And a friend of me say the same to me. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? You are telling us what the observation is. What do you mean? What does it mean? We know, we have even considered marketing the maggrav units as emotional unit.
Yeah.
Part of our research shows that because of the use of systems by combination of production of the GANs, we produce certain amount of zinc oxide into the GANs material. This comes from the field strength between the 2 sides of the same plate, zinc plate. Not that it's different, that we produce deliberately. You got to understand, when you make the GANs material, especially CO2, you have a plate which is on either side. You have a border that you increase a very small amount of zinc oxide, which is in line with the emotion because of this field interaction. So we know that many people who have brought and developed or made or bought the maggrav units has changed the environment of the house. They tell you something has changed in the house, because it's a maggrav strength and it elevates the soul, elevates the emotion, and you find out you're not in that position, I read somewhere, somebody wrote us that in our house was a lot of shouting and howling, and the house has changed, very calm. And we don't know why, but it all started since we brought the Maghreb unit in.
Okay.
I don't care if it doesn't make the energy the way I was expecting to get a full 100% or something, but it has brought peace to my family. So we know it's actually a discussion from the manufacturing in Italy, that we promote the Maghreb units as emotional unit, as something which elevates, we call it the happiness unit. It does work, we know it works, it's been there for a long time. But yes, it does, because it comes, understanding, it comes because of that zinc material which is on the coil.
Yes, I see it very closely to you. And we see this homeopathic first effect, you know. First time it would be a little bit harder. And when they are willing to change some things, I think then it would be better. But when these fields are coming and they vibrate in the emotional fields, they have their own challenge. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Any others, or we bring the teaching today to close? Remember that as of now, you can join the agriculture development, or you can sponsor or yourself become part of the agricultural development at Ghana Keshe Foundation with all the facilities if you want to test, or you can appoint scientists to do the job for you. The other hand will be with the clinical trial test results, as we just during the teaching or what we were having, we received confirmation from Tokyo University of the non-toxicity at what I've seen after 16 days. The second phase is totally complete. And now we go into the what we call other phases. So please join us in bringing the technology to public in a very soft way, and the way we have done. We have seen people who have been using the technology due to their own understanding, are sharing it and interpreting their own knowledge, and this is important. When you see something, interpret it and let the others interpret it their way. Your way is not the wrong way, and their way is not the wrong way. Each way will bring home a new knowledge. Do not be afraid of criticism, or do not be afraid of adding to the knowledge. Just because somebody else has found out and it doesn't match with what you thought, because then what you thought will become something on the outside line. We are all in it together, and we add to the knowledge together. As we said before, we still going ahead with all sorts of teaching development, and in the next couple of weeks we announce new development who are fundamentally important for all the Keshe Foundations worldwide, especially on the manufacturing side. And once we achieve, complete it, we announce it, and then this brings home the availability of the technology worldwide at every nation, in every nation, every country, simultaneously. We rely on you as one race, one nation, one planet, that we work together to solve some of the problems and get enlightened to the new dimension of understanding. Thank you very much for being there. We share knowledge again next week and the week after, we hope. But understand one thing, none of us is wrong. Those who criticize you are those who have come to the limitation of their own understanding, and they have to confirm their own rigorous existence. Stay strong and carry on with the research, development, and we give you all the tools which we have in every shape and form. We try next week to show some of the fields which leads to the creation of the spaceship. And then it's for you to take it a step further. We try next week to spend most of the time on showing videos and recordings of the establishment of the what we call plasmatic field for establishment of the spaceship. This is important because now a lot of you can take it to the following phase because you add your own knowledge to it. This recording has been made past few weeks. Then now you will see it, the dimension of it, the strength of it, how you can expand it, how you can reduce, and the rest. So next week we go for the what we call the spaceship field detection, which is important to the next steps of, and I'm sure a lot of you who understand it will bring it straight away into a flight system. Thank you very much for today. Thanks very much, Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh. And
Arman in the background.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Arman Jan.
Huh.
Would you like to explain to us, you are part of that development? About spaceship fields or the fields of the plasma? Or do you want to leave it to next
Wednesday? I prepared a few things for today, but I will show it tomorrow. And next time.
Next Thursday. In these videos, you will see the formation of the plasma for what we call the structure of the fields of the spaceship. It's done by Keshe Foundation Innovation Group, and Arman is part of recording and keeping everything tight, because the next step, if the others can add the knowledge, you can start seeing the boundary, physicality boundary, the lights for the spaceship. You see the measurement and the detection of the fields, and Arman has full recording of it, and the team in the background, they'll explain it. We try to show it live as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Arman Jan.
Mr. Kesh, one last question. Can you explain, when you use the caustic, you release the hydrogen into the water, correct?
You do all sorts of things at the same time.
Okay.
Thank you very much indeed. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Probably the answer to that question is enough to keep Arman going for a week.
Let me enlighten you with it. I know why Arman goes that way, but let's just look at it this way. We explained in the teaching of last week in respect to the deuterium and tritium, and the speed of the separation and creation of NaOH, especially like with aluminium, and the creation of specifically a strength field material of CH3 when you have the copper plate and the zinc plate in the caustic, and when you have it afterwards in the sodium chloride, creates and supports the creation of tritium and deuterium. In some of the nuclear reactors we see this, because one thing which a lot of nuclear industry has not managed to do is pure purification of the uranium. And even though we purify, we centrifuge, everything possible, we do whatever needed, not to have any salt which leads to the corrosion of the pellets and the rest in the nuclear rods. Due to the nuclear decay, the material reaches that point that the salt is created inside the fuel rods in some very specific conditions. And then it leads to the corrosion and everything else. We see it very, very rarely in the nuclear industry, but it exists. We are aware of it. We've seen it very, very occasionally. So the environmental condition leads to the creation of the matter which we didn't want, and in that process, as a higher speed in the meltdown condition, it leads itself to the creation of tritium. There is a very simple process. This is part of the PhD which we initiated now at the university. is to understand this and avoid the condition of the tritium into deuterium and back, if possible, into production of gold or heavy elements. If what just Arman put his finger on it can be understood fully, meltdown becomes impossible in nuclear reactors. And it's very, very important. It's as we know, past couple of weeks with a heavy earthquake in environmental area of the Fukushima, they had a problem with reactor number 3. This can be stopped, and even if you lose the water, the liquid, you can still contain without the meltdown if our colleagues in TEPCO understand how to do this. You release a hydrogen, but the hydrogen can be used, or you're creating environment for the hydrogen not to switch over to become, because of the salt content in one of the fuel rods which could have been corroded is enough to start a mayhem, and this is what happened in reactor 1 in Fukushima. And this is where they have the problem. We see occasionally, even though they centrifuge everything in nuclear industry, production of the salts in some of the pellets, some of the fuel rods. And this comes purely through the nuclear decay. And there's a process in the cladding that we can stop this. And when that comes in touch with the hydrogen or the water in the cooling system, leads to production of tritium, rapid production, and just takes over. It's not what is being taught. It's actually presence of this material, rapid decay into salt. It decays into a field strength of the salt, and then because of the environment, it takes this physical manifestation. And yes, Arman, you produce hydrogen, but if you know how to control it, if you can make present other things, you produce tritium and deuterium very rapidly. Thank you very much for today.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kesh, and that'll bring a close to the close for the 148th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute for Thursday, December 1st, 2016. Once again, thank you everybody for attending, and I'll shut the live stream. We're going to leave the Zoom open for about 15 seconds extra for the closing of the YouTube. Okay. This is the part where Guy sings a soliloquy for the last 10 to 15 seconds. Do I hear it?